All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another virtual offering for our National Estuaries Week. My name is Emily Kuzmic. I am the Coastal Trading Program Coordinator as well as the Species Monitoring Program Coordinator for Old Woman Creek Reserve. If you've watched any of our previous citizen science monitoring videos, there's a webinar on our YouTube playlist. Our previous intern talks about her work with the citizen science program and camera traps at our active beaver lodge. And then we just came out with a video talking about avian monitoring, so check those out. Right now we're going to talk about Lungless salamander monitoring. So right now I have a juvenile about Lungless ravine salamander, Plethodon electromorphus here. So we just found him underneath our cover object, and we are at Site 2, cover object 7. So for salamanders throughout Old Woman Creek, we have 6 different monitoring sites. Our first 2 sites have 9 cover objects, and then the other 4 have 6. So this is one of our most active sites, and you can look around and see that we have a lot of natural cover objects here, so a lot of logs, pieces of natural woody debris, and this is optimal salamander habitat. So lungless salamander obviously means they do not have lungs, so they respire through their skin. So we want to make sure our hands are clean, no Purell, no sunscreen, no bug spray as we handle them. And we are out here monitoring their presence and activity in correlation with our climate conditions throughout the entire year. So salamander monitoring actually takes place throughout the year, and then depending on the weather, they are ectothermic, so their movement and metabolism does depend on external weather conditions, depends on our soil quality, moisture, and things like that. So they are a very important indicator species. So I just found this little guy under cover object 7. There are little tags that you can see on our cover objects that tell you the number. So we do have a monitoring form for this, so we can post that and share that with you. Took the liberty of filling this out beforehand, and I just used my Weather Channel app. If you do not have the Weather Channel app on your phone, we can easily fill out this information later. But this is an all levels activity if you want to bring kiddos out, if you're retired, or anywhere in between. This is a perfect opportunity to walk our trails and have some literal hands-on experience with our wildlife. So it asks you which cover object number you're at. So we are actually at Site 2, cover object 7. So I'm going to fill it on this first page for the ease of myself. We want to take the soil temperature, record the number of individuals found, whether or not we have eggs present, whether or not we took a photograph, and what the activity of our salamander was. When I found this guy, he was pretty active, so he's a little motionless now, I think just because he's been in my hand so long, but because they're ectothermic, the warmer they get, the more active they are. So that's very important to record their activity level. He's looking right at me if you want to get a close-up of him. So we'll go ahead and hold on to him as we take our soil temperature. So we just use a regular soil thermometer. We make sure it's on Fahrenheit because this is a public research initiative. We do use more publicly acknowledgeable units so that it makes sense for people. So we want to find out what kind of temperature thresholds externally in the air as well as in the soil these salamanders prefer. So we're going to hold on to him. We just go ahead and stick our soil thermometer in the soil about 4 to 6 inches down, because obviously our salamanders aren't always going to be above ground like this one was when I found him. That completely depends on the weather. So we'll leave it in here for a couple of seconds, and I'm reading 64 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about accurate with our ambient weather conditions. We're at 65 degrees for our weather. So we go ahead and write that down underneath our soil temperature cover object 7. I'll make a note that this is site number 2. 64 degrees. We found one individual. I do not see any eggs present. Lungless salamanders are, especially the plethodontid species, Electromorphous and Cinereus, the redbacked in the ravines, are breeding in the fall. So sometimes we will come across eggs, but it's important to take pictures because a lot of the times we find snail eggs. So sometimes that takes discernment, but I don't see any kind of egg, so I'll put an N for no. We obviously have this on camera, so I will say a yes for a photo. And our activity was active, so I'm going to put an A for active. And again, we use this in a master database to draw correlations between our temperature as well as our presence and activities of our lungless salamanders. So he's starting to get pretty dry in my hands. I'm going to go ahead and first gently place our cover object down, and then we go ahead and let him go. Because we want to make sure we're not squishing our specimen, making sure they are as least impacted as possible. So they're very smart, nature is very resilient, and he'll find his way back underneath our cover object. And then we continue on with all of the other cover objects at each site. If you're interested in coming out and volunteering, taking a hike and flipping over some logs and looking for our lungless friends, go ahead and get in touch with us and we can get you some monitoring material.